So I'm with the man, Rocky Patel, at Intertabac 2024. So, Rock,
Yes.
you are like one of the earliest, like you're one of the pioneers of the new world cigars in Europe, right? When did you start distributing here?
I think we started right around 99. So I think
That's
I was one of the
insane,
first ones.
1999.
Obviously, Davidoff was here way before we
Yeah,
were.
yeah, but they were based
But
from here.
for a
Yeah, they're Swiss.
smaller company, I think back then, I would say I was kicked out of more stores than I was welcomed at.
I can imagine.
I remember going to Geneva in Switzerland and visiting all the famous tobacconists there, and I'd walk in, and it was Indian tobacco back then. It wasn't even Rocky Patel. And walking in and out of stores and just said, no, thanks, unless it's Habanos, we're not interested.
Wow.
And then I would take the bands off the cigars and go into stores and finally get, so I would say 1 out of 20 stores back then that I visited that we were able to get product. And then eventually over time, once we started releasing the vintage under the Rocky Patel name, it grew traction, and I traveled all over Germany from Kiel to Rostock, Black Forest. The reps would drive me all day. At midnight, they'd drop me off. They'd exchange.
They hand you over to the next rep?
The next rep. At midnight,
Wow.
we'd drive an hour, crash the hotel room, and we'd do this
insane,
8 nights in a row. And then, so we finally got traction
that's incredible,
with
man.
all the retailers. I built a relationship
Yep.
over time. So it all really
Which is
started
similar
in
to
Germany.
like what you did in the
and then
US.
Switzerland.
Yeah, in a different way, but it's still very similar.
So we've been here pushing this market and working this market and learning from this market, because we started with, like box press cigars with
cigars
dark
that they
wrappers.
weren't used to seeing and weren't interested in. The market wasn't there.
Yeah, the market was originally mild cigars, light wrappers, smaller vitolas, definitely not box press cigars, round cigars. So we learned and we finally adapted. So it's taken us a long time and it's been a journey. We started with Mr. Villiger and developed Almendra del Tabac, which was their division for non-Cuban cigars, and then met Michael Colas, Adam and Daniel's father, and then Adam and Daniel, and they're wonderful to work with. So we've been working with them for a long time, and I know that the Cop people are also great. They were alone for the last several years.
Yeah, you were with them for, yeah.
And we just have a great loyalty and friendship with Daniel and Adam, and nothing against Cop. Ollie, we love them too, but we just decided that we because of our past relationship, we'd be them. So, but it's great to see how this market has evolved.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you is, what's the biggest thing that you've seen, the biggest change you've seen in the market?
Well, first, there's definitely smoking richer, fuller-bodied cigars.
No question about that.
They're smoking box press cigars, but I think the biggest, shocking thing is 6x60s and big ring gauges, which was this was a market.
I walked
with
in this morning and
Coronas.
there's this guy with a 6x60 in his mouth, and I'm like, am I at Intertabac?
And I think, the best part about it is that the consumer is throughout the international market, they're exploring and realizing that there are really, really good cigars made in Nicaragua, Honduras, Dominican Republic. And they see that there's something else besides just Habanos. And it was so difficult to get through that hurdle for years.
Would you say that was more difficult than the hurdle that you had to jump in the US, where you would walk in and they were like, no, Indian guy, no, I don't know about a cigar from an Indian guy.
I would say
that was a bigger hurdle.
say this is a bigger hurdle.
Yeah, I agree.
I think they were so closed-minded. We just got done with a trip to Riyadh, Doha, Dubai, and even there, they're open-minded now.
Yeah.
They realize, that, hey, the construction, the consistency, the quality, the diversity and flavor profile. So, I think it's great that people are finding, and it's great for the entire cigar market.
Of course.
Because, rising tide lifts all boats.
Absolutely.
And so people now see that, hey, this is really interesting and fun to enjoy a fine cigar. And there's so much choice.
Correct. You can explore in different directions.
Absolutely.
As opposed to just down this very narrow path. So what did you release at Intertabac this year?
So this year we're bringing out our gold label. It's going to be released here in November. Obviously, we released it first in the United States.
In fact, we rated that in the issue that's coming out now. And it scored well.
Okay,
so
great.
we loved it.
Yeah.
So we rated that in this issue, and so it comes out here in November, though.
It will be released in the European market in November.
Very cool, Rock.
Yeah.
So yeah, congrats on that
Thank
cigar. I mean, you know how much we love the
And
conviction.
congratulations to Cigar Snob for spreading the love of
Thank you,
premium
brother.
cigars. We appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
All right,
thank you.
thank you so
It's
much.
always great to hang with you.
My
man.
pleasure.
All right.